My name is Victoria, and this is my story of hope. Growing up, I played sports. I did the drama club. I was very involved in my youth group, and I had a lot of friends. I grew up in a middle class family of four: my dad, my mom, my younger sister Lexi, and myself. We would go to church on Sunday morning. We looked polished. We seemed harmonious. We served. People told me how lucky I was to have the parents that I did. But my reality was that I was abused by my parents. Childhood into my teen years and into adulthood, I was living in a house that I was terrified to be in, the epicenter being my dad. My home was filled with violence, rage, manipulation, filled with control, name calling, and much more. These experiences were very confusing for me because my dad was a pastor for all of my life. So I thought that my experiences must be okay and normal, because if anyone would know if we were being mistreated, it would have been my dad. But deep down, I've always been very afraid of my dad. I lived at home with my parents until I was 23. As I got older and gained independence, my dad's psychological abuse and violence increased. I believed this was because I was growing more independent and my dad was losing control over me. At this time in my life, I was incredibly insecure. I coped by trying to be the nicest person anyone had ever met. I lived for the acceptance of others. I would be so complimentary, positive, encouraging, and upbeat. People would often say that I was so nice, so sweet, the nicest person they ever met. Those words filled a hole that was so deep inside of me. My entire identity became being the nicest person in the world, but it was a mask, and it was my coping mechanism. It felt like an alternate reality. It was a way to escape my feelings of fear, isolation, and insecurity. Living for people's acceptance was my way of convincing myself that I was okay and everything was okay when it wasn't. I was in complete denial. Today, I have started taking small steps in considering my feelings and my actions, and not just making decisions to people please. I desire authenticity in my life and in my relationships, and I realize my people pleasing habits prohibit me from living authentically. I have to share with you that the reason I have hope is Jesus. I am beginning to understand the depths of compassion and brokenness that Jesus has for me. Jesus is the reason that I have hope for my children, hope that with his help, I can create a home and a relationship that is safe, that is peaceful, where my children can grow and they can thrive. A relationship where love is not earned, but freely given. Jesus is the hope for my life-giving marriage, a partnership where we are both valued and cherished. I am so thankful for my sister. I could not have made it through this past year or the last 3 decades without her. Jesus is my hope for unlearning destructive patterns and relearning new ones. I am so thankful for therapy because I am in a lot of it and it is really helping me. I'm experiencing freedom and peace and healing. Jesus is the hope for breaking the cycle of generational trauma. I am so incredibly thankful for Fireside. The love and support I have received from this community is teaching me about how Jesus loves me unconditionally. Healing is found through Christ and community, and you are my family. Jesus is the hope for my life and the reason why I'm standing here today. Maybe you're listening to my story and you too are in a dark place that's painful, that's isolating, that's lonely. And I want you to know that there's hope for you, and it is in Jesus. Thank you.